a side note, I would just like to remind everybody to please bring in their empty oil containers, coolant jugs, windshield washer fluid jugs, so that we can reuse them. We purchase these items in bulk, and if we don't get the containers back, then we don't have the containers to refill for you guys to use. Next, I'd like to talk about tire pressures. A reminder that our deck trucks, and this includes 546, are to be between 95 and 100 psi, and our wreckers are between 90 and 95 psi, with the exception of 502, which we keep at 80, and that is for the comfort of towing a vehicle and a smoother ride. Tire pressure should be cold in those ranges that I have just given. If tire pressures are warm, of course they're going to be more, and there's no real need to adjust the tire pressures unless they are extremely high. You know, on the decks over 120, you may want to bring it down to like 110. And in the wreckers, you know, if it's getting upwards of 110, maybe bring it back down to 100. You know, 105, just to help maintain the wear of the tires. Dolly tires should be between 60 and 70 psi, and we do ask that when you are doing your pre-trip to please include the dolly tires as well as the spare. And the reason for this is we, if you're not checking your dolly pressures and you go to use your dollies, and you find that the pressures are low and you can't air up the dolly tire, then you are looking at changing that dolly tire, and then you're running the risk that maybe the spare is no good as well. So we just want to make sure that we are looking at our equipment and that our equipment is going to be functional at the time that we need to use it. And keeping the tire pressures between the 60 and 70 psi is also going to help those tires wear a little bit more evenly for us. And again, I'm just going to reiterate that on Mondays, it is very important, if you are the first driver on a unit, that winch cable is lubricated properly. Please note this on the pre-trip. On the newer pre-trips, there is a spot that you can check off that it has been done. If that is not there and you're still working off an old pre-trip, please just mark it in the remarks. If the cable is too dry, it's going to cause fraying and friction. It's going to be more difficult to work with. So please remember on Mondays, if you are the first person using that truck, to lubricate that line.